Hello there everyone, it's Donna here from Riverside Beads, and today's tutorial is a beaded crystal Santa. It's a lovely simple make, and the kit includes everything you're going to need to make that. It's got a 10mm faceted round in there. It's got a lovely round pearl. It's got a beautiful diamante rondelle, which I haven't got out. That gives him a lovely crystal trim around the hat. That's that one there, which is absolutely stunning. One of my favourite beads, these are. Stunning, that sort of crystal inlay in there, they're just beautiful. So that sits around the centre there. It's very cleverly constructed. So this is one of our brand new kits for this year, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Now, when I start with something like this, we've got different pins in there for you. So we've put head pins and eye pins in there. So I'm going to start with his feet, which is, we've got a little black boots on for Santa, of course. And a couple of seed beads on there first. Now, for those of you that are not jewellery makers, a little intro to the pliers. Round nose pliers, flat nose, chain nose, which are also flat pair, and the cutting pliers. Now, we will dip into various ones of these as we go, but I'm going to start with my cutting pliers, and I'm going about 1 centimetre above the top of that bead. Somewhere like that. When you cut, point that into your mat so it doesn't shoot everywhere. And then we take our round nose pliers, or even your flat nose if you want for this first part, just to do a bend at roughly a 90-degree angle. I sometimes give it a little push with my finger, but you notice I'm not getting the end bit there. So then I take my round nose pliers to the end of my pin, as close as I roughly can to the end there. And I'm rolling. Let me get that captured again. Okay, and I'm rolling there, and then when I can't sort of go any further around with my hand in a moment, I release that back into the back of the loop there, and I'm going to do a second turn until that's roughly closed there, and then we'll do a little bit of adjusting to make sure that closes up, and we've got that there. Let me see if I can do another one and get that captured a little better on camera for you. So the pin, take all the other bits out of the way, helps the focus sometimes. I pick up the foot, two little head pins, two little seed beads, sorry, onto your head pin, is what I was thinking there. Cut that to about the same size. So if you're wanting to do 2 legs and have them symmetrical, if you use that spare piece to gauge where to cut, and then that will help you get that symmetrical. So you've got that same amount to turn your loop, which then didn't point that one straight into the mat. It did shoot off a little there. But that will just help to make sure that your loop is got the best chance of being the same sort of size. Move that out of the way. So bending that at that 90-degree angle. The closer you get to the top of that bead, the neater your loop will be to the beads there. If you always use roughly the same place on your plier as well, that will bring you neater results too. Let's see if we get this one a little more focused to turn. Got that loop there. So if it needs just tweaking, that one's not quite closed, just give it a little tweak there, just adjust as needed, and that will give you 2 little Santa legs. That's your first part. Now the other bit is done on an eye pin, so an eye pin already has that lovely loop on the bottom for you. Take your crystal bead, just bear with me, chase it round till you find its hole. Oh, I'll tell you what, in fact, I will just quickly, this is sometimes easier to do without all the beads on. Doesn't matter too much with this one, but if it's something like a Mrs. Claus where she has a little skirt on, then you need to just before, because this disappears into the skirt. So you flip that open, and that's where I dipped into my flat nose pliers, popping those 2 on. This is just sort of a juggling act really to get this so it sits in the loop there, so it doesn't slip up these pliers, but that you've got enough room to get those pliers back on that side of the loop ready to flip that closed again. So it's just very small movements. The smaller you make that movement, the easier this process will be. So it's simply flipping to one side and flipping closed again. And as long as that's secure, then that's the legs onto the bottom. Then we'll go back to the fine holder here, onto your crystal. The pearl bead to represent Santa's head. And then of course Santa needs a lovely big diamante base to his hat. Then we've got a crystal bicone for the top and then a small little rondelle. A little pom-pom on the top of his head. So then we just sort of support all of this. I tend to pop a finger under the bottom of the head pin or eye pin just to hold everything in place. The cutting process again, if we work roughly on that centimetre, pin that down. So if you were wanting to bend that with your flat nose pliers first, you've just got to remember to switch. I do find you get a bit crisper with ease sometimes with a flat nose, but then you've got to remember to put those down to do your loop, because otherwise you end up with a triangle for your loop at the top. Then to your round nose, bend that round, release it back into the back of the loop there, and then carry that on, which will just get you a nice little loop in the centre there. And that, guys, is your Crystal Santa charm. A lovely make, but with a very elegant touch to your Santa. It's about 1 inch or so high, so it's although it's got all of it's glass, it's not particularly heavy, so it makes perfect little earrings, little charms hanging from your Christmas tree. Pop inside a hollow ball with a little bit of snow. Thanks very much for watching again. I'll see you next